Welcome to our open book. Thanks very much for being with us. Caroline is here, Fran M., Diana Lynch, Dorothy Joy, S.R. O'Brien, Lucy Fellows, Molly Katz, Carla Atkinson, Klaatu Forever, as we say around here, Karen Smith, John O'Hara, the distinguished novelist, Mark Kimball, Linda Grimm. Thanks very much. And look who else joins us. Tom Goldman in a box joins us from Portland. We wanted to talk about Robert Redford's sports films. And nobody better to talk about that than Tom Goldman. Well, there might have been a few people better, but those 8 people weren't available. And in any event, Tom was kind enough to step in. So let's welcome in. Tom, thanks very much for being with us.
Lady, because I thought the list was maybe 15 that you went through.
Oh, no, just 8. Just
before
8.
landing on me. So I'm moving up.
Yeah.
I feel really good about that.
Just 8. And Caroline said to me, "Oh, darling, throw in the towel and ask Tom already." So that's what we did. Let me talk in order, the natural and downhill racer. We will explain for people that may not be familiar, the natural 1984, taken from Bernard Malamud's 1952 novel. Of course, Robert Redford was 47 when he played the role. He gets signed as a rookie. I won't explain what intervenes, tell it too much. Film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Many of the baseball scenes shot at War Memorial Stadium in Buffalo. What do you think of the film,
Tom? Before I answer that, Scott, you remember what it was like talking to me? Circles?
Yeah.
So before I answer that, let's point out, you mentioned Bernard Malamud, one of the towering voices in 20th century Jewish literature with, the likes of Saul Bellow, Joseph Heller, Philip Roth. Not a guy many people thought who knew about baseball. And I was doing my deep dive into the natural, Scott, and it turns out that he wrote it when he was out here in Oregon at Oregon State University. And he reportedly got a lot of his baseball information from a janitor at OSU who knew baseball like the back of his hand. And so he taught Bernard Malamud all about baseball.
This is amazing. I never knew this. This is amazing.
Well, Scott, that's why you went through those 8 people to get to me. What did I think? I rewatched it last night after, you said I'd be on talking about it. And it's been a while since I watched it. I've changed as a person, maybe as a sports fan. I hesitate to criticize it because for so many people, it's an essential sports movie. It's an essential baseball movie. But you know what? After watching it, I said to myself, when it comes to essential sports movies, especially essential baseball movies, I'll take Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't not like it. There were things I liked about it, but the plot's an interesting one. This is not just, although the ending is so stirring, and we don't want to give that away. And the story of
because the film's only been out since 1984. So
and the story of Roy Hobbs it can be inspirational, but he's also a flawed character, if you remember the movie, and runs into some very flawed people. But I think what maybe I didn't like, and I haven't read the book, I'm inspired to read the book now, is let me quote the great Vincent Canby, the New York Times film reviewer, what he said back in 1984, and just a small little excerpt of what he wrote. He said, when Roy is once again tempted by bad people, bad influences, the movie saves Roy from further transgression, possibly because The Natural is a big budget commercial entertainment supposed to warm the heart, not shiver the timbers. I love that line. And it's the brooding moral fable that Bernard Malamud wrote becomes a fairy tale, and with a fairy tale ending, which the book didn't have. So I've run into people who didn't like the book and loved the movie, or the other way around, like Vincent Canby. I will say one of the things that I did like about it, Scott, is that Robert Redford was an athlete and he was really great for this. You can tell the way he throws a baseball, the way he hits a baseball, the way he runs.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a really important thing when it comes to a sports movie, because there are plenty of sports movies where the principals look like klutzes, basically, but because they're great actors in something else, they'll cast them in a sports movie. So I really like that. As far as, the magnificent actor that Robert Redford was, I would kind of have to agree again with Vincent Canby, who said his performance is a little bit chilly. Doesn't have the great emotional range that audiences can respond to. So there, I've ruined it. I've criticized. I am now on a list of people who love sports movies who now hate me. But that's kind of what I thought about it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I when I first saw it, I was upset that they had changed Malamud's ending, because I thought that was so. The whole book leads to that, after all. And it was on top of everything else, it was partially inspired by the Black Sox scandal. Including ultimately the last line in the book is, supposed to be um, what was uttered to someone who was convicted in the Black Sox scandal. Mm-hmm. But all that being noted, as the years went by, I was also impressed by Redford's athletic performance. I mean, I happen to love the original Major League. I wish I could tell you I was more high-minded than that.
Oh, I know.
But in any event, to see some of the people on the Cleveland baseball team then is hilarious. And you think, no wonder they're in last place. They can't play, with the exception of Charlie Sheen, of all people.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a good high school athlete. But in any event, all of that being said, I appreciated, Redford in the film. I appreciated, of course, Barry Levinson's direction. It was an early Wilford Brimley played the manager, and he's always great fun to see him.
Yeah.
And and it was obviously set before the game became quite as big as it was to become, and that was the whole idea. And I think Hollywood films, you have to enjoy them for what they are.
Right, and not have. Yeah.
Let's get to one I know you want to talk about. Early in Redford's career, I think it's safe to say before he was quite a household name, 1969 Downhill Racer. Tell us about this, because this is about the international downhill racing circuit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This was, for me, and it became a family favorite. We watched this over and over and over. It just stuck with us. Not something about it. There was a lot about it. And for me, and shout out to Jason Gay of the Wall Street Journal, who pointed this out in a column last week following Redford's death, was the sports movie that we should remember Robert Redford for. Again, a flawed character, but it didn't have kind of a neat and tidy tying up of loose ends. He was troubled and flawed throughout. And he played David Chaplet, who was from a small town, I believe it was in Colorado. And it was about but a huge skiing talent, and Redford was a skier, so this is something I read somewhere this was a real passion project for him. And it's just a great story of a character, kind of a fish out of water as he takes on the European circuit and plop down in some very kind of worldly, urbane places, and he's completely out of place, except on the slopes. He was an incredible portraying David Chappell. It's this amazing talent.
We
And
should explain it was directed by Michael Ritchie, and it was the first of their partnerships.
Right, exactly. What else did they do together?
They did a movie I love called The Candidate.
Oh my God, I just watched that the other night. So good.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. We can talk about that too.
I've got a whole list of Redford movies that I'm going through very slowly.
Yeah.
And The Candidate was the first one I watched the other night. Anyway, it's a great story. Cinematically, it's incredible because they use, as Jason Gay describes it, this point of view skiing. So you are on the skis. I guess today we would think of it as a GoPro, someone wearing a GoPro, so you can actually see where they're going, and it's just absolutely exhilarating. So you are on his skis as he's racing, and remember, this is back in 1969. This is this is technology that's become common now. I mean, you watch the Olympics, you see this kind of stuff. Anyway, wonderful character, wonderful other actors. Gene Hackman, who made everything brilliant, played the coach in a really kind of an understated way. I mean, this was really Redford's movie. Dabney Coleman was also in it, who's fantastic. Camilla Sparv as the love interest, and it's phenomenal. I would highly recommend that without reservations. Definitely.
Camilla Sparv, you say the love interest, but without giving anything away. Not a lot of love there, is there?
There's not. No. Maybe we should say the lust interest. Not the love
all right.
interest. Without giving too much away.
Yeah, can we say that? I didn't know until today two things, written by James Salter, the great novelist, who apparently changed it. He didn't even read the book, which they had acquired, to write the screenplay. And you know who they wanted to direct it originally? Roman Polanski.
Oh my God.
Who was apparently a ski fan.
I would have called it David's Baby or something. Horror on the slopes or something. Anyway, wow, that's wild. That's one of those things like, what was I reading about? I'm started to read, or it's on my list of Al Pacino's autobiography, Sonny Boy.
Yeah,
and those great stories about when someone seems cast perfectly, but then you find out who they really wanted. And I think, as a matter of fact, they were thinking Redford for Michael Corleone.
Yes,
I think at one point, yeah. And so, how wrong, as great as Robert Redford was, how wrong would that have been?
It doesn't. Well, politics is a kind of sport. Can we talk about The Candidate for a second?
Yeah.
In 1972, Redford plays, I think we can fairly call him, in some ways, Kennedy-esque, glamorous, openly a Democrat in the film, has a father who is garrulous and maybe has a touch of corruption in him, who's the former governor, and the two of them aren't necessarily close. It is such a wonderful, wonderful portrayal. It was written screenplay by Jeremy Larner, who'd actually been a speechwriter for Eugene McCarthy during his presidential run in 1968. And such a small scene. You notice, for example, they have all the speechwriters and thought people together trying to carve out a message, and they're in the hotel room and they get lunch and room service and they're talking about all the issues, and suddenly somebody goes, wait, and they all look around and he goes, who ordered the club sandwich? But it's a great and very wry and cynical view. And do you remember the scene of Redford in the back seat? He begins to repeat all these kind of nonsense phrases, and he gets them mixed up, and he just has kind of a fit of seizure and laughter in the back seat. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, that is him at his finest. And do we want to give away the last line of the movie?
Oh yeah, please. I think so. Yeah.
Perhaps the most profound when he goes through this and he wins, right? He wins, and I think it was based on Jerry Brown and his father, who was
Pat Brown, governor of California. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so Jerry was the good-looking son who they said, let's follow in the father's footsteps.
Who'd had a vacation with Linda Ronstadt, and we can.
Right.
You didn't know that until now? Why am I just? Yes, Linda Ronstadt. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and at the end he's won, and there's this crush of people all around him, and he pulls Peter Boyle. It's so great seeing Peter Boyle, other than in Young Frankenstein. It was so funny. And the campaign manager into a room, and they've won, and they're excited. Especially the aides are excited. And Redford says, "What does he say?" He says, "Now what? Now what do we do?
What do we do now?" And then the room is overwhelmed by people coming in, and they're just engulfed by people who are celebrating. Yeah, what do we do?
Oh yeah. And people have been taking pains to draw parallels between the candidate, which I believe was 1972, and what we're going through now. And I think I've heard people unanimously say that last line could be very applicable to today too. Well, what do we do now?
Tom, thank you very much for being with us tonight. It's been just wonderful. I don't care what all the comments are saying. I think it's been great to talk to you again.
Don't listen to those people.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's probably all AI or bots or something anyway. Well, thank you for saying that, SRO Brian and Diane. Are you watching the Redford movie tonight?
Not tonight, but probably tomorrow. And what is on my list for tomorrow? I haven't decided yet. Maybe All the President's Men.
Oh. Yeah, reporters. As we said the other night when word was spreading that we had lost Robert Redford, you're in a position to know all reporters are that glamorous, right?
Only you, Scott.
Well, God bless. Thank
Scott,
you. Yes.
I miss you every Saturday.
I miss you every Saturday.
Keep doing what you're doing, and it's so important now. So keep doing it.
Well,
and Tom, we want you to come back more regularly on Open Book.
Yes. You were the first guest, I believe, right, to ever make Scott answer his own question.
Wow. I like that. I'll bet those 8 before me wouldn't have done that.
Well, but I look, Ian McEwan said he was busy, and Prince Harry couldn't make time.
We did not invite him.
Yeah, I think William probably could have.
Oh, right. What has he got to do? Prince Harry is busy now. Yes, everybody is saying come back soon, but, we're willing to stand against popular opinion. So thanks, everybody, for being with us tonight on our. Do we have a guest coming up tonight? No.
We have something this week.
We'll find out.
Remember.
Okay. Thanks very much for being with us on our Open Book. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And au revoir, Caroline.
Au revoir.